Finding problems? That's easy. They exist in every community. I'm Terry Springs, your host. We're looking deeper, and we are talking solutions, finding out how we all can make a difference. Today on Talking Solutions, Jennifer Ramieh from the Red Cross here in town. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate being here today.
I know that you first called me talking about this year's Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign. Beasley would like to help to make this a successful program. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but the day that I sent out an email saying, hey, we should get involved, I watched the morning news the next day. 36 people had been burned out of their home overnight.
Interesting timing.
Yeah. The Fire Helps program. Can you explain it for everybody who doesn't know what it's all about?
Oh, absolutely. When most people think of the American Red Cross, they think of big disasters. Seeing us on CNN helping a community who has just been ravaged by a tornado or a hurricane or flooding, which is what's been going on a lot in Texas and the storms in Oklahoma and Missouri that have been flooded recently. But really what we respond to mostly on a day-to-day basis is home fires. So we're the agency that if you lose your home to a fire, we're going to be there to help you. And here in Southern Nevada, that happens at least once a day on average. A lot of it does not make the regular news. Obviously, the big apartment fires that displace dozens upon dozens of folks, that's newsworthy. But the single family who just lost their home overnight and now have no place to live usually doesn't make the news. And that's where we respond the most.
And I'm thinking you don't check the balance on your account to make sure that you have enough funds. You never say no when somebody needs help.
We're always there. And it doesn't matter how much money they make or what their status is in the community. We don't care. Fire doesn't care. Fire will take it regardless. So we're there to help the family. And sometimes the family needs financial assistance just to help bridge the gap before maybe their insurance kicks in. In most cases, there is no insurance. And other times they just need some guidance. What do I do from here? I have the resources. I have family that I can stay with. It all depends. So we have volunteers that are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including holidays, you name it. And these folks are incredibly dedicated. They get up in the middle of the night when they get the call from the fire dispatch office and they go and meet the family right curbside, usually while the fire department is still there putting out the fire. And we work with the families and say, okay, what resources do you have? What can we provide? And we make sure that they have a safe place to stay, that they've got some clothing, that they have food. And then our caseworkers in the office follow up with the families the next few days and make sure that they have a recovery plan. So our program, our Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign, is about raising awareness, but also about raising money to aid those who have lost their homes to a fire here in Southern Nevada.
When a Red Cross volunteer comes and helps a family or an individual who has just been burned out of their home, every situation is different, but I would bet there's lots of tears and hugs and thank you for being here because nobody else has been.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you from personal experience, it might even be about the same time that you said the 36 folks that were displaced. I was actually on scene of that apartment fire. When I got there, folks were standing around, many without shoes because they had to run out of their apartment so fast they didn't even get a chance to grab shoes. I saw one mom, she had a young man, just turned 8 years old the day before. She looked to me and she goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. And she just started crying. I let her cry on my shoulder and I told her, I said, we're here to help you. This is going to be okay. We're going to help you find the path to recovery. And she said, but what do I say to my son? And the young boy, he didn't know what to think. He had just come home from school. All of his birthday presents had just been lost to the fire. He was concerned about, where's my next meal coming from, Mom? That's what we're there to do is, number one, that they have hope, that they know that they're not alone, and that we're going to help them get to the road to recovery.
They're wondering where they're going to sleep tonight.
Exactly.
In so many cases with a fire, everything's gone.
Everything. Shoes, clothing, ID, pictures, family photos, everything that you can possibly imagine. And we go out and install working smoke detectors into people's homes because we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get out alive if a fire were to occur in their home.
That's why I saw Frank Rutkowski from the Red Cross on TV. I caught just the last of it, and I saw something relating to a fire detector, but I was kind of walking through the room, so I wasn't watching the news.
That's kind of the second part of our Fire Hurts campaign, making sure that people have working smoke detectors in their homes, because the reality is you have 2 minutes to get out of your home if there's a fire. That's not a lot of time. What would you grab in 2 minutes? Keys, your ID, your loved one. What if you have a disabled loved one? How do you get them out of the home in 2 minutes? Your dogs. Every second that we can give a family by a working smoke detector to alert them into the fire is another second that they have an opportunity to get out safe. That's the second part of the message. And we actually will install working smoke detectors in anyone's home. All they have to do is call us and make an appointment, and we'll come out and install a smoke detector.
And you're not going to leave a bill when you go?
It is absolutely free. Part of our mission is to make our community a safer place, and so this is one of the initiatives that we're doing.
Jennifer Ramieh is in with us from the American Red Cross, Nevada, talking about the Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign. This is something that goes on all year, just like the need for fires. You were just saying that it's happening as far as someone getting burned out of their home about once a day.
Yes.
That adds up pretty quick.
It does. It adds up to around 1,500 people a year in our community who need our help. We estimate we spend approximately $350,000 providing financial assistance to folks in the community. There's just some heartbreaking stories that we've come across, and there's many families that this one fire can set them back financially. They're already maybe living paycheck to paycheck, and something as tragic as this can really set the family back and cause financial hardship, can cause health issues from the stress. We're kind of the safety net for the community, so we want to make sure that people know that we're there to help. And one of the reasons that we're there to help is from the generosity of the community donating their time through volunteering or donating their dollars to our chapter.
Best of all would be if they could give a little bit of both.
That's always ideal.
The Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign.
We have a number of companies that have dedicated lead gifts to us, and our amazing partner is the Professional Firefighters of Nevada. This is their, I believe, 4th year that they have partnered with us. They understand the devastation of fire. They're there to put the fire out, and then they hand the families over to us. So this is such a natural partnership with them, and their generosity of a $20,000 gift to the campaign is just incredible.
Wow.
We have other companies that also have stepped forward and said, you know what, we're going to support your efforts. And then we're looking to folks in the community, donate $10, donate $100, donate $1,000. Whatever you can spare, it adds up, and that's going to help us aid the community. A few years ago, we had, the Carpenter One fire where Mount Charleston was on fire.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and the entire community at Mount Charleston was evacuated. We were helping folks during that time, but in the middle of that response, we also had 52 people that were displaced by a multi-unit apartment fire. So it never ends for us. It is a constant, what's going to happen today, who's going to lose their home today. And so for folks who never experienced losing their home to a fire, they are so lucky, because to witness a family go through that, it's heartbreaking. And I applaud our volunteers who do this on a day-to-day basis and get out there and help people. They don't get paid, and they'll get up at 2 a.m. and go help a family. And some of them then go to work the next day, and I applaud them for all they do.
There's something special in you that makes you be that kind of person, to be a volunteer who gets up at 2 a.m. and goes and helps that family that just experienced an apartment fire. And these multi-unit complexes, chances are those 36 people that we were talking about a couple moments ago, most of them were not involved with the fire. They didn't cause it.
Right.
Nobody wanted it to happen.
Right.
Yet they're impacted by just being in the vicinity.
Exactly. And there have been so many various reasons as to why the fire started. I can tell you between Thanksgiving weekend and New Year's Eve, we had a rash of fires that occurred throughout the entire valley, everywhere from Henderson to Clark County to City of Las Vegas. We had 217 people that we helped just in that small, barely 30-day window, and we had nearly $50,000 in assistance that we provided to folks. It just was a nonstop endeavor, and it was all different reasons as to why there was a fire. So we're so thankful that we have the support of the community who donates to us on a regular basis and says, you know what, I'm going to help you, because we're not a government agency. We receive no federal funding. So it is really the generosity of the American people as to how we can fulfill our mission.
That's an important thing to point out, because I think with a lot of people knowing that the Red Cross is such an international type organization, they would think, oh yeah, they're getting all kinds of federal funds, but you say that's not the case.
No, we receive no federal funding. We are federally mandated to respond to a disaster, but we get no federal funding to...
No, wait a minute, hold it. Okay, so the government says you've got to go.
Correct.
But here's $0 to help you do what you tell you have to do.
Correct. Yes. So we really rely on the generosity of individuals, family foundations, corporations to say, you know what, we're going to align with you and we're going to support our community.
We are very blessed in Southern Nevada. I believe that we have a very giving community in so many ways.
Oh, I've seen it time and time again. again, not just with what happens here, especially with big incidences like in the Carpenter One fire with Mount Charleston. I've seen it where, just like Hurricane Sandy a few years ago, the generosity of folks in this community who said, I want to help folks back east who've been affected by this terrible tragedy. It never ceases to amaze me, the generosity of the Southern Nevada people.
And I'm really impressed with the professional firefighters that they're involved with your Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign, and monetary, helping to support it with funds, helping to make it happen. Being first responders, they're the ones that's in their face every day. They're seeing what's happening to these families.
Right. And we work side by side with them. So that's why this was such a natural partnership to align. They get called to the scene, they see what happens, and they call us and say, come out and you need to help this family. It just made a natural partnership to align and bring awareness and bring some dollars to the table from them. So I'm very appreciative of the professional firefighters of Nevada for that.
For the people here in Southern Nevada who we know are giving, we were just saying that.
Yes.
If they want to make a donation to the Fire Hurts campaign, which you say actually takes about $350,000 to finance these immediate needs for families and individuals who are burned out of their homes for whatever reason. You need $350,000. I'm touched. I'd like to donate.
We make it so easy to donate. We really do. You can go to redcross.org website, just put in your zip code and it'll bring up the local chapter information. And then you can just choose local chapter as a donation. You can mail us a check here at our office here in Southern Nevada. You can call us at 791-3311. And that's also the number to call if you want a working smoke detector in your home. Call us at 791-3311 to either make a donation or if you need a working smoke detector. We make it really, really easy to donate. You can also come see us at our office. Just walk in and give us a check. We've had schools do fundraisers for us where the kids bring in change, and that's incredible to see. Next thing you know, you've got several $100s to help a family. So we're open to a lot of ways that people can donate.
One of the most amazing things when kids in schools and classes get involved is the fact that it's all of these young individuals who are learning from the start the importance of donating and being part of their community.
Right. I've read a lot of different articles that say when you volunteer, you actually get more out of it than the people you're helping. I would have to agree with that. Being on the front line of some of these disasters, helping a family, there's so much self-satisfaction that comes out of that. Even donating some dollars, you may not see the family you're helping, but it makes you feel good that you can contribute and help somebody in need. It's almost a selfish thing, I think, to either donate or volunteer because you get so much more out of it than the person that's receiving the benefits.
One of our Talking Solutions friends is Mary Vale, and she is the author of the book, What's Your Philanthropic Footprint? We're always talking about giving and the giving high, how you get so much back out of it that it fuels you to do even more.
She nailed it. Yes, I can speak from personal experience. It's a wonderful feeling. We're super excited about this year's campaign. The Southern Nevada community has never let us down when we've asked for their help, so we're looking to the community again to help us fill the coffers and help families in need.
People outside Southern Nevada don't get it. They don't see what we see from inside this amazing place that we live. They see a tourist town, they see the Strip, they see the lights.
Right.
But they don't see behind the scenes.
Right.
And it's such a special place. We've got Jennifer Ramieh in, Chief Development Officer for Red Cross here in Nevada. When do I make that donation, either online or by sending a check or making a donation in person? You were talking about the way through the website. Put in a zip code, and that directs me to my local chapter. The funds, do they stay here? I would imagine there's a way to direct those funds to where you want them to go.
We honor donor intent. So if you say, I want my donation to stay local, we're going to earmark that for local. That's the beauty of our organization. If you say, I want this to go to international relief, because, we do a lot of aid with other Red Crescent societies, that's where it goes. So by donating and saying, I want this to go to the Fire Hurts campaign or stay in my community, we absolutely honor that.
Well, the Red Cross is involved in so many things. And I know over the years, every time there's a disaster, think all the way back over a decade ago, Hurricane Katrina, all of these horrible events. In every case, there was a chance to text.
Yes.
And it would make an automatic $10 donation. We don't just care about the efforts here in Southern Nevada. Of course, home first.
Right.
But the Red Cross does so much wonderful work in every emergency situation worldwide.
We do. And domestically, there's still people recovering from the tornadoes that struck in North Texas, historic flooding in Missouri to Mississippi, mudslides in California, massive winter storms, and all of that, we're there to help. So we pre-position supplies. We recruit and train recruiting volunteers. So at a moment's notice, we can respond. And so we encourage folks not just to consider donating to this campaign, but as you see a disaster happen or unfold on CNN and you see us respond, what you don't see is all the prep work that goes into what happens before we even get to the response phase and the money that we spend before we even get to that point. We need to make sure we have supplies, cots, blankets, comfort kits, meals. We need to make sure we have volunteers recruited and trained and then ready on standby. We need to have operating vehicles to haul shelter trailers, to open the shelters that folks need. There's so much prep work that occurs every day that we do to make sure that when the time comes, we're ready to go. And the same here in Southern Nevada. If something were to happen tomorrow and we needed to open a shelter for residents in our community, our shelter trailers sit outside our office. They're ready to go. We hook it up and we can go immediately and set up a shelter within just a few hours and make sure that people have a safe place.
It's immediate response.
It really is.
Wow.
It really is. And it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You never know when you're going to get the call.
We're talking about our Nevada chapter of the American Red Cross with Jennifer Ramieh. I know that you probably have a few people on staff, but isn't most of your help to achieve all of this dependent on volunteers?
Oh, yes. We have a very small staff. We only have 12 paid staff here in Southern Nevada to handle a population of about 2 million. And that doesn't include our visitors that come in that would maybe need help if something were to happen.
The 41 million plus that come through?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then the rest, we have just under 600 volunteers in Southern Nevada chapter. We rely on them. So when you see someone in a Red Cross vest that's on scene of a fire or that is delivering blood to a hospital or is maybe training a CPR class, chances are that that's a Red Cross volunteer and not a paid staff person.
When you volunteer for the Red Cross, are we talking about a huge commitment of time or is it kind of a sliding scale? I don't have a lot of hours. I'd like to help a little bit, or I'm retired and I'd really like to get out there and lend a hand.
Right. It all depends. We have so many different jobs for volunteers. We have our disaster action team, and those are the folks that take shifts. And then if they get called out to a fire, they go and respond. We have folks that come in and work in the office. I have several volunteers that work for me, and one amazing volunteer who's been with me for about 4.5 years who comes in twice a week, half days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and she does what I ask her to do and help me. And so it depends. We have volunteers recruiting other volunteers to come in and join us. So we have so many different job options for folks. Our receptionists at our front counter are all volunteers. We don't have a paid staff person up there. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, what I would encourage them to do is, again, go to redcross.org and type your local zip code, and it'll give you options for volunteer jobs that we have open with a job description and the average number of hours for the commitment. So it's very clear up front what kind of time commitment we're looking from.
I think a lot of times if someone is hesitant about volunteering, it's because they're not sure how much they're going to be called upon.
Right.
It's like if I step out there, I know that I'll never get out of it, but it'll be a full-time thing.
Right. Or they think, well, I only have the weekends available, and what could I possibly do on a Saturday? And actually quite a lot. We have this one volunteer. She's a lawyer by day. She'll take a night shift with the disaster action team. So she'll take a Tuesday night shift, and if she gets called out, she gets called out, and she still goes to work the next day as a lawyer. It's so impressive. I just continually am impressed by our volunteers and their dedication.
And then after they get off work, suddenly they become a volunteer, put on that superwoman cape.
Exactly.
And go out and do amazing things for the Red Cross.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. I feel very privileged to be part of such an amazing organization where 97% of our work is done by volunteers. I don't think there's many organizations that can say that. And more importantly, we provide a service with people that it is their most critical hour of need. When we see folks, it's because they have just experienced a disaster. They have nowhere to go, maybe, or they don't know what to do. They're completely stunned, and we're there to lend a hand. And going back to the selfish thing, there's so much self-satisfaction that comes out of helping.
I think that's one of the reasons you were saying that sometimes volunteers self-recruit and talk to their family, their friends, their coworkers, and say, this is such an amazing feeling to be able to help. You should come do this with me.
Right.
And
right.
They end up helping to recruit others.
Absolutely.
In service for the Red Cross.
Yeah. There's nothing better than the testimonial of a volunteer who says, this is the work that I get to do and the impact that I get to make in our community.
The whole focus of this show, Talking Solutions, we always say that it's not so much identifying problems, it's identifying how we can all make a difference.
Right.
And obviously, with the American Red Cross in our Nevada chapter, there are a lot of ways that we can make a difference with $10 or $100, whatever you've got. Help with Fire Hurts, Red Cross Helps campaign. We're looking at needing like $350,000 to carry that out just for the year because you have so many people who need this. You say an average of one per day at least.
One per day, yes. It's It's just amazing to me. And it's not a particular season. You never know when it's going to strike. On average, once a day, someone here in Southern Nevada is losing their home. It's incredibly tragic, and it's heartbreaking to see a family go through that and not know what to do or where to go. We do our very best to help them, to make sure that they know they're not alone, to make sure they have some resources for a safe place to stay and food and clothing. And then what's their recovery plan? Do they have family or friends that can help? Do they have insurance? What other resources can we refer them to? Other nonprofits in the community. And that's another big thing that we do is collaboration. We couldn't do this also without our partners in the community who come to our aid or help extend the benefits to our fire victims. We work a lot with Deseret Industries. We also work a lot with Goodwill, and the Firefighters of Southern Nevada Burn Foundation is also a great supporter of ours and provide additional resources to fire victims. So we really look in collaboration and say, okay, there's other nonprofits that can also help. How can we refer that family out to make sure that they've got the resources they need?
So you not only come to their aid immediately when they have a fire situation where they need your help, you're on site immediately helping them through that. And then when it's over, you don't just go, hey, great, we got you a bed for tonight, we'll see you later.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. You also offer, with the Red Cross, working with other community partners, to be a bridge to the services that they need to be back on their feet.
Absolutely. We saw the storms that came through Henderson in September that ended up wiping out power lines for several days to a pocket community down in Henderson.
It's a little isolated area.
It was crazy. Folks that were disabled or they could not go without power in their homes. And so we had a shelter open. One of our great partners is 3 Square. And we got bottled water donations from 3 Square delivered so we could make sure that folks who were staying in our shelter had bottled water and food. And then also, as folks were cleaning up, we were delivering these supplies out into the community, handing water out and handing cleanup supplies out to folks that needed it.
Jennifer, I think you probably should write a book one of these days. Wouldn't that be interesting? I mean, there's so many great stories.
I've got a few stories.
Yeah.
I've been deployed out on a number of large operations as well. I was in New York for Hurricane Sandy, and I was in Oklahoma for the Moore, Oklahoma tornado a few years ago that killed the kids. Yeah, I've got there's some interesting stories, but it all comes back to what can we do here in Southern Nevada? We're so fortunate that we don't have a lot of the major disasters that a lot of other places have. We don't have tornadoes. Our biggest risk is earthquake or wildfires, and it doesn't happen very often. So folks tend to forget about us sometimes, that we're here in the community doing this work on a day-to-day basis. So the Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign is a way to remind them, hey, we're here in Southern Nevada. We are helping families every day. And oh, by the way, if something were to happen, we're ready to go. And we have an entire network behind us of folks that would come in from anywhere in the country to help us and back us up if something were to happen.
We are blessed in Southern Nevada, but the Red Cross works quietly behind the scenes. No one ever expects fire to burn them out of their home. But when it happens, you're always there.
Without fail. We will never turn a family away. We will never say, no, we cannot help you. Regardless of the circumstances of the family, we will help them.
However you can help, it would be great for you to get involved with the Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign, needing $350,000 to do this for a year. That's the estimate. Of course, nobody's sure what it's going to be because you never know what's coming tomorrow.
Right.
But whatever it is, the Red Cross will be there. I am really, really intrigued by the fact that the federal government is requiring you to respond, but is giving you no money.
Yes, that's our congressional charter as an organization.
Well, then we'll help ourselves. We'll help our neighbors.
Exactly.
And we will help with the Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign. I will make sure that all of these links, phone numbers, everything are available on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, as well as a podcast of our show today.
Fantastic.
Jennifer, what have I forgotten?
Oh, we've covered a lot of ground today, I think. Yes.
That's why we're here.
It just comes back to the generosity of the Southern Nevada community never ceases to amaze me. And so regardless of what charity may be closest to your heart, this is something that we all can rally behind and help our fellow Southern Nevada community members in their most desperate hour of need. And I appreciate and am very grateful for everyone who supports us, whether it's volunteering, donating. You probably have been touched by the Red Cross. You may not even know it. If you've taken a CPR class, if you've taken a Learn to Swim class, if you have lost your home to a fire or had a family member who has, or have a family member affected by some other natural disaster, or if you've received life-saving blood, or if you've given blood, we touch the community every day. We haven't even scratched the surface on what we do with military members and their families. That's a whole other segment, I think. So it just amazes me how much we're part of the everyday fabric of the community. And And so thank you so much. I appreciate you having us on and letting me talk about this campaign and how we can help our fellow residents.
Anytime. And Jennifer, you mentioned we haven't even started with the military. That means you're going to have to come back and visit me,
Probably,
right?
yes.
I would like that. Today we've been talking specifically about the Fire Hurts Red Cross Helps campaign. All the info on their website, redcross.org, or you can find it on our Talking Solutions Facebook page. By the way, one of the things we mentioned during the interview had to do with smoke detectors. And if you are in need of them, they will help take care of you. Phone number if you need that, or if you need to find out about anything, 702-791-3311. That's 702-791-3311. Jennifer Ramieh, Chief Development Officer for the Nevada branch of the Red Cross. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you so much. It was a privilege to be here.